What's up, comic book fans? Pete here from Comic Books Transformed, where me and my good friend Brian over there talk about comics that have been adapted from comics into streaming shows and movies. There we go. I got it right. And right over there is his handsome son rocking a Jolly Rancher shirt. How's it going, Brandon?
Good.
Good? What is your favorite comic book show or movie that you've seen recently?
I don't know.
You don't
don't know?
No. Oh wait. What's it called? The Last of the
We didn't see that yet.
No.
He wants to say the third Venom movie, but it's not out
No,
yet. No?
the comic book of The Last of the Venom.
You didn't read it. The What If one? Not the What If one.
No.
It's okay, Brandon. Brian corrects me a lot on this show too. So
He's talking about there was a I can't remember the name of it, but there was Carnage was hunting all the Venom variants. He's talking about a comic book though. Pete's asking you what was your favorite comic movie or comic TV show.
I don't know.
You haven't watched any recently,
I don't
really,
know.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No answer.
I'm not-
that's okay. Yeah, we appreciate your contribution, man. Keep growing up and getting bigger. Jesus, he's big now, man.
He's a big kid, yeah.
Yeah. So today we are talking about the Penguin. So at this point, there will be 3 episodes out. Brian and I watched all 3 of them, right? And this is probably going to come out on Monday. So actually, it's going to be fucking 4. Whoops. Okay, never mind. So
That's okay.
But Brian, I gotta say, I love this fucking show.
Yeah, I have to say that I don't like gangster shows. I don't like drug shows. I fucking love this show.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good. I happen to like gangster shows and drug shows. Breaking Bad is like one of my favorite shows ever. And Better Call Saul. I feel like this show, though, is The Sopranos set in Gotham.
Yeah, totally. And I have not watched The Sopranos, but I have the gist. I feel like I've, being from Staten Island, you kind of live it.
Yes, I totally agree. Yeah. And living in New Jersey, too.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. So, this show, though, I have to say, too, there's a lot of us saying I have to say, it makes me want to rewatch The Batman.
Yes, especially after the 3rd episode. But I have to say, too, like we were saying, we just covered Agatha. God damn, that's our other thing, then. We gave you things, and we have to say things.
Yes.
So we were just covering Agatha, and I was saying that, I wasn't excited about it whatsoever, and it surprised me. I would kind of say that about this too. Like I wasn't really expecting anything of it. I was not excited about it. I'm like, a gangster show. It's Penguin. It's going to be Batman related, but it's not going to be Batman like everything. But I actually don't want Batman to show up. I think this is great. I think this is fantastic as it is. Keep it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Colin Farrell has redeemed himself for from Daredevil to me for this. And not that he hasn't before. He's fantastic. I've seen him in plenty of things since that. But like this, it feels like full circle because it's a comic related thing. And he's even better in this than he was in the Batman.
1000% agree with everything you just said. I know that like I've heard before that people still don't realize that's Colin Farrell under the makeup. And he makes such an endearing character, and he doesn't seem anything like Colin Farrell. Here's this good-looking Irish guy, and he basically comes off like some kind of goon from The Sopranos, or like some kind of mobster from New Jersey.
Yeah,
and like when I was watching the movie, when I found out there was going to be a Penguin spinoff, I was like, okay, sure, that'll be interesting, I guess. But then, like, he's made this Penguin one of the best adaptations of the Penguin.
Yep, ever. I totally agree. It might be my favorite version of the Penguin now. And hold on, I think Brandon has to show me the comic.
Oh, yes. Oh, he's got the comic. Okay.
After the Venomverse. Okay, yeah.
Is that written by Cullen Bunn?
Is it Cullen Bunn? Yes, it is Cullen Bunn, yes.
Okay, I did read that, yes.
I read all these issues, but Brandon gets to pick out comics when I go to the store with him.
2.
He hasn't read them.
2 for free.
But
nice, man.
But he never reads them, so I don't buy them anymore. But I did finish this off and read it. It was pretty good.
I love it.
Yeah. I read that too, Brandon. Yeah, very cool, man. Thanks for sharing that with us. Yeah.
Yeah. next time.
Okay.
All right, cool. So we're gonna start off with your son, and then my daughter's probably gonna sneak in while we're
Yeah, so we'll
finishing
have
this.
Brandon start the show, and we'll have Clementine close out the show.
Yes, yes. And you know, she usually just kind of makes these angered eyes and stuff like, why are you still recording? But what do you call it? It's so much like The Sopranos that the Penguin even has fucking Tony Soprano's mom.
Yeah. Are you saying that is the character is very similar to it, or is that actually the same actress?
No, the actress that played Tony Soprano's mom died. Actually, she died while they were making The Sopranos. But no, the character is very similar, where like the character just makes him feel this like tremendous guilt over what happened.
Yes.
I think if memory serves me correct too, I think Tony Soprano's brother died when he was young too. And that's what they're implying with this show too, that he had a brother as well, right?
Yeah, two brothers, and they're both dead.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, they're not really covering up the idea of they're like, what if it's the Penguin, but he's Tony Soprano?
Yeah, no, they're not, but it works so good, and it's just, I guess it just helps that to have the the big crime families that you're so used to hearing from Batman, the Maronis, the Falcones. It's just you're in this. It enhances it for me at least because like I said, I'm not normally a fan of this type of show.
Yeah. Well, you say Falcone. I can't remember if in Batman. Yeah, I think they say Falcone in this show.
Yeah, I say Falcone because I'm pretty sure that's how they said it in Batman the Animated Series. So that's like my baseline for everything.
Right. I'm super hyper aware of how I say it because I've been watching this one YouTube channel, the Cosmonaut Happy Hour, and he's been reviewing all this stuff. And he's like, they pronounce Falcone the right way in this. And he loved the animated series. And he loves The Batman. That's his actually favorite Batman movie is The Batman. Yeah. It's not mine. My favorite Batman movie is The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
What's yours, by the way? Oh, okay.
That's it.
Okay, well, that could be my little segue right there. The reason why I fucking love this show so much is because it is like The Dark Knight. And more importantly, it's like Andor, where you have something that's established. We already kind of know the world because we've seen stuff filmed in that world. But then someone takes it and they make it into this much more complex and humanized version of the story.
Yeah, it's taking the grandeur of a Batman in Gotham City movie and it's kind of drilling down to a small portion of like a more narrow lens of Gotham, and it's just the underworld here, the crime underworld.
Yeah, and it's so fucking good. Going back to the Sopranos reference or whatever, Tony in the first season, he's not the head of the family. He's just like one of the guys in the family. And he does a lot of like the grunt work in the first season. And with Tony, he is like Oz, the Penguin in this, where he like, he gets along with everybody, makes jokes. People like him. He gets along with the grunt guys, but then he can just turn on a dime and be violent. And in the first episode, fucking Alberto Falcone is just running his mouth and the Penguin just shoots the shit out of him.
Yep. Now here's the question. Was Alberto in The Batman?
I don't think so.
Okay. I couldn't remember, and I haven't rewatched it yet, but I really want to go back and rewatch it after that. I'm kind of torn if I want to do it during the show or after I finish the show, but I was wondering that from the first episode.
Here's a question for you. Is Alberto the one in Long Halloween? Is he the one that you think is Calendar Man? Or Holiday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I guess they're not doing that angle.
No, that's the thing too, is that, and then the other main character in the show here is Sophia Falcone. And she's the hangman in Dark Victory. So, and I guess they're implying that she's not, but also that all happened after the Long Halloween. And this all feels, I guess this is kind of a big remix of Batman because it's almost like this is like No Man's Land at the same time. So who knows? They're definitely taking bits and pieces and remixing it in a new way. And it's not like, they're following the exact course of like year one to Long Halloween to Dark Victory and so on.
Exactly. And I think maybe the key thing is that Harvey Dent and Two-Face are not involved at all.
Yes.
You know, but let's talk about Sophia Falcone for a second. Shit, I wish I had written down the actress's name, but she's
Kristen
fucking
Milotti.
okay. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, so good. Honestly, everybody in the show is really good. Obviously, Connor Fowler is. Obviously, Kristen Milotti is, and I don't remember the actor's name who plays Victor, but he is so good too.
Rennie Felice.
Yes, him. Especially with this third episode, so good.
Yep. So, we keep talking about this third episode. We could jump around. Guys, we're going to drop spoilers. The beginning of the third episode is probably my favorite thing in the show so far.
Yeah, because it's essentially serves as a flashback to what Victor was doing when Riddler's explosion happened and that big flood happens. And then, I guess essentially is turning it into a no man's land storyline.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about FEMA trucks in this episode, or like FEMA camps, I'm sorry, in this episode. And like Gotham, at least part of Gotham is like a disaster area. And we see effects of that throughout the show, but we see the explosions happen in this third episode, in the very first scene. And it gave me goosebumps because some of my favorite Batman stories are the stories that are told from the street level. Like, there's this one comic. I think I asked you this last time too, man. I'm sorry. But like, did you read Gotham Central or no?
I have not read Gotham Central. I've always wanted to, but I have not.
Okay. I mean, it's fucking written by Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka together. It's just like,
oh
my God.
That's like perfect crime duo right there.
Right. Exactly. And so the whole show, or the whole comic, you just get little glimpses of Batman. He's barely in it, but it focuses on the Gotham police force. And it really reminds me of this show. And then what'll happen is every so often there'll be these crazy villain-inspired disasters where you just see how horrific and scary it is. And I love that because you always see things from like Batman's perspective and the villain's perspective, but you never see like Gotham citizens and how fucking scary it can be and horrible.
Yeah, especially with the implication that, Victor's family is now dead, because of this whole thing in there. And he seemed like this good-natured kid trying to do the right thing. And, he seemed like he had issues with his dad, kind of not taking what he thinks is owed of him from his customers, and how that's translating to him fitting into this crime world with Oz.
Yeah. So good. It's like kind of like a Bronx Tale where it's like showing the one surrogate father who's a crime guy and then the hardworking father who is, having a hard life because he has to basically live within the system.
Yeah.
And before we kind of delve more into that, I just want to point out that sequence is so well shot too, because he's on the roof and on one side of where this is all framed is his apartment, and you can see like right into their window and see their life. And then on the other side is the bay, and he sees the explosions and the water comes rushing in. It looks so good for TV. It looks so good. And then you like watch the water go up towards their apartment in kind of like slow motion. It was so well shot.
Yeah. And just the fact that it was like a second or third story apartment too. It's like, holy shit. Like this, it makes it seem like what happened to be so much worse than was shown in the movie.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's so well done. And the relationship between Oz and Victor is one of the central things of the show too. So, he was gonna fucking kill Victor, right? In the first episode.
Yeah, the first episode, because he was stealing his rims or whatever on the car, and he was gonna kill him. But then he heard him stutter, and he kind of saw this kind of flawed youth just trying to make it in the world. And he saw something of himself there, and he kind of took him under his wing. Then after he gave him a job to do, and he kind of screwed up, and it put Penguin in a real bad position. So he almost killed him there too. So yeah, it's a weird relationship. It's like they seem like kindred spirits in a way, and you're right. It is like a surrogate father figure for him, but at the same time, it's just showing how dangerous of a world this is, and that's how these kind of relationships progress is with that edge of your life is on the line at all times.
Yeah, in the third episode, the Penguin even does that, right? Because he takes a gun and puts it to his head. and he's like, "This is what the life is like," right? He says something like that when
Yeah,
they're in that bathroom.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that's interesting, because I see people talk about this on social media. They point out the scene where Vic and Oz are on the train, and there's a spot on the subway that says, like, this is for special needs or whatever. It's like handicap, right? Like people can't sit there unless they have some kind of disability, and Oz won't sit there. And it's interesting because I saw people react to it in two different ways. They looked at it like, oh, he has integrity, he's not going to sit there because that's for disabled people. Then the other thing was, no, he is legitimately disabled because he walks with like a limp or whatever. And so he chooses not to sit there out of pride. How do you interpret that?
The latter. I think it's a sense of pride. Like, it's like, no, I'm not actually disabled. Like, that's not me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and so in the third episode, there's a great follow-up to that where he's in a fancy restaurant with Vic, and Vic goes to order something. And he has a stutter, and he can't say what he wants to order, and the waiter completes his sentence. And then Oz gets mad at the waiter for completing his sentence. I really like that scene too.
Yeah, that was a great, and especially too with the tension in the air that he wants to leave with his girlfriend because he doesn't know if this life is right for him. But it's such great tension because and that whole setup in the beginning with how with his dad, just kind of doing things the right way, confined by the system, all that, being happy with what he has, and then the opportunity to potentially have more at great risk. It's just fantastic. It's exactly what you would expect of an HBO show that airs on Sunday night.
Boom. Oh, dude, well put. Exactly. Yeah, and I'm glad it's not just straight to streaming on Max. I'm glad that it's getting attention. I'm glad it's coming out every fucking week versus like just dumped right on our, doorstep. So let's talk about though the crime element and the people that are involved. So we have the Falcone family is still very much in power in Gotham, even though what's the dad's name? Which Falcone is that? The dad that's dead.
Carmine's dead.
Carmine, Jesus Christ, I couldn't remember his name. Yeah,
which is funny because Carmine was John Turturro, and I still think that was a weird casting choice.
Yeah. I love John Turturro, but
yes,
no,
fantastic actor.
And he's got that relationship with Catwoman.
Yes, and that's the other interesting thing too is that you have essentially this is about Carmine's other daughter, really, Sophia here. So it's interesting that a lot of focus is on the two of them.
Yes, yeah, and Maroni is in it too, and he's played by fucking Clancy Brown of all people.
That casting works for me.
Oh hell yeah. And so with that family, Alberto was going to be the heir, but Oz takes him out right away. Then we have his brother, who I can't remember his fucking first name now either.
It's Carmine's brother
or something.
Luca,
thank you. Yeah,
Johnny Vitti is like the lieutenant underboss guy who's he's like the baldest guy. And I know him from something else, and I can't remember what it is.
Okay, so that actor is in a lot of things. Use this because I'm in the middle of this. No, sorry. So Luca, Vitti, right? That actor, I don't know that actor's name, but he is in a lot of things. He was in Man of Steel for like 2 seconds. He was the main thing I've seen him in is House of Cards, and in House of Cards, he's like fantastic. You've seen that?
I have not, but I know of the show.
Okay. He plays this character named Stamper on that show, and he was like the standout character. We saw little shades of Stamper in this third episode where he's just like cold. He says this fucking line to Sophia where he's like, okay, you have to go to Italy. You go to Italy in 2 days, or that's where I'll tell people I sent you. I love that line. That's such a
great
dark, good line.
The actor is Michael Kelly.
Okay. Well, he's pretty great, and I think that's also the name of like a Liam Neeson movie. But
oh my God, he was the guy at the end of Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. That tells what's his face that signs him up for G.I. Joe.
Yeah. So Yeah, I mean, he's great, and he's just like a thorn in Sophia's side. For a while there's tension where Sophia seems like she's going to take out Oz too, like in the first and second episode.
Well, yeah, there's this fantastic tension because Oz killed Alberto, which is
Right,
kind of
right.
what set Sophia on this path of kind of vengeance and taking her what's owed to her. But Oz is helping her. So there was a show that I don't like the term hate watch, but
Yeah.
there's a show I hate watched. It was Dead to Me on Netflix. It starred Linda Cardellini and Christina Applegate. And
Yeah.
the whole premise is that Christina Applegate's husband get run over by a car, and it's by Linda Cardellini's character, and she inserts herself into Christina Applegate's life out of guilt. And there's this tension this whole time of like, why is this person inserting themselves into this? And I hated that so much, but I watched so much of it. And it, I wasn't hating it to make fun of it. I was hating it because I hated what it made me feel like, like it was too tense. But it really works well in this show, and it's not bothering me. But it's 100% going to come out at some point. I mean, it might already happen because the end of the third episode took a turn I wasn't expecting.
Well, what is that? Go ahead, tell us.
So the whole thing here is that Oz is trying to capitalize on an operation, a drug operation that Alberto was setting up, but it seems like it was really Sophia's operation of getting a new drug out on the streets of Gotham. They're having this the triad kind of distributed for them, but then they're having this kind of heart to heart about their story, their past, and Oz was the one that got Sophia sent to Arkham essentially, and then then Maroni's wife shows up, and they're held at gunpoint. Dick comes in at the last second, decides he's not leaving, and he runs into one of the goons, runs him over, and then Oz gets in the car, and they said, "What about Sophia? Leave her behind."
Yeah,
I'm very surprised at that. Like after that moment, it's like, and he's so quick to just drop her. So I'm so interested to see what happens next time.
Yeah, so cold. That's one of the best things about Oz as a character, at least in the show, is that like he's very likable, he's very relatable. You feel bad for him, but then it turns out he's very manipulative and very like he just like schemes like crazy. He's always thinking about
on you like that.
Yeah. It reminds me of like Breaking Bad and Walter White and stuff, where they'll do these kind of heartless things, but like you see how it works for their ends. One last thing, because I have my daughter in here and she's like literally elbowing me to make me stop recording, is that there's a scene in the second episode where he goes and kills a guy that has taken the rap for some kind of crime against the Falcones. Like they think that he even killed Alberto.
Yeah. No, it's Sophia's like right hand man, and he plants the knife that killed the Maroni guy that they captured on him, and they blame him for Alberto's death.
Yeah,
which again is a ballsy move.
I know. It's so mean and stuff because that guy was so loyal to her. And basically, she thinks that he did it because the Penguin planted the knife on him. So that ruthlessness is great, and I think we're going to see more of it as the show goes on. Do you know if they plan on just making this like a mini series, or is it going to be like there could be more seasons?
I don't know. The only thing I've heard is that I don't think Colin Farrell liked putting on all the makeup and effects for such a long period of time. I think it was one thing to do it for a movie in which he was in for like 15, 20 minutes. It's another thing to do it for a however many months shoot, where he's the main character essentially.
Right. Really good point. Yeah. Well, I fucking love it. It makes me want to see more from the Batman world,
Yeah, I'm very curious when we're going to get another movie from that universe. And how that's going to interact with whatever James Gunn's Batman is going to be, because they don't want to have these things come out at the same time. They're going to have to alternate years at least to not confuse people, I guess.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, we're excited about what James Gunn is going to do, but this show has made me get like a lot more excited about the Batman. I'm like, shit. I kind of want that Batman, that Gotham as the Gotham in this new universe.
I think it could work maybe, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll do it. I always think that Batman works better when he's in his own element, where it's the street level stuff, and it's not like Batman having plot armor against Darkseid or some shit like that.
Right. Like he's on a space station. Yeah. He's using a Green Lantern ring or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Although the only Batman comic I'm actually currently buying is Batman Off-World when he's in space. So
yes. Jason Aaron. Yeah. I know. I mean, just Batman's just fucking awesome no matter what. He's my favorite superhero. But I'm glad he's not in this show because this show fucking rocks.
Yeah.
What do you call it? We will have a much more detailed Penguin analysis next week because we'll have 2 episodes to cover. My daughter hopefully will not be in here stabbing me and hitting me and stuff like that. She sent me some kind of message over here on this. I don't know what C stew means, but probably being shut up in some.
Yeah,
language.
I was gonna say, so shut the F up, Pete.
I would not put Clementine above that. So there you go. She's saying time to stop the recording. But anyway. And she and I actually went to go see hey, wait your mind. We went to go see The Wild Robot, and that was really fucking good. So
nice.
You guys can go check that out. Has nothing to do with the Penguin, but we appreciate you guys watching. Make sure that you subscribe, and we will see you guys